The flickering candlelight of the restaurant was supposed to be romantic. It was our anniversary after all. 10 years. A decade with Clara. I looked at her across the table, her face illuminated by the soft glow, and felt a familiar warmth spread through my chest. I had a surprise for her, a small velvet box tucked away in my jacket pocket, holding a ring to commemorate our journey together. I was just about to bring it out when she spoke, her voice cutting through the restaurant's gentle hum. "Liam," she said, her eyes not meeting mine, "I'm leaving you." The words hung in the air, cold and sharp. I felt the air leave my lungs. "What? Clara, what are you talking about? Is this a joke?" I managed to stammer, my heart starting to pound against my ribs. She finally looked at me, her expression unreadable. "It's not a joke, Liam. I'm serious. I've already packed my bags. I'm moving in with someone else." "Someone else?" The words echoed in my head. My mind raced, trying to make sense of it. We had our ups and downs like any couple, but I never thought this. "Who?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "Who is it?" "It doesn't matter who," she said, waving a dismissive hand. "What matters is that this is over. I'm not happy, Liam. I haven't been for a long time." She sighed, a sound full of theatrical pity. He understands me in a way you never could. He's successful, decisive. He gives me what I need." Each word was a hammer blow. Successful? Decisive? I had poured everything into our life together, working tirelessly to build my own small architecture firm from the ground up. It had been a struggle, especially in the early years, but we were finally stable, we were finally comfortable. I thought we'd done it together. "So that's it?" I asked, disbelief turning into a slow-burning anger. 10 years, and you throw it all away for some other guy just like that? On our anniversary? "Don't make this more dramatic than it needs to be," she said coolly, taking a sip of her wine. "It's just life. People change. I've changed." She looked around the restaurant, a smug little smile playing on her lips. "He's going to meet me here, actually. To take me to our new home." My jaw dropped. She was having her new man pick her up from our anniversary dinner? The audacity was staggering. I felt a mix of rage and profound sadness. The life I knew was crumbling before my eyes, and my wife was treating it like a business transaction. I was about to say something, anything, to challenge this cruel charade when I saw her eyes fix on something over my shoulder. Her face went pale. The smug smile vanished, replaced by a look of pure, unadulterated shock. She froze, her wine glass hovering halfway to her lips. Curious, I turned in my seat to see what had captured her attention. A man was walking towards our table. He was tall, impeccably dressed in a tailored suit, with a confident stride. He looked familiar, but I couldn't quite place him. As he got closer, his eyes met mine, and he offered a polite yet reserved smile. He stopped right beside our table. "Good evening," he said, his voice calm and professional. He wasn't looking at Clara, he was looking directly at me. Clara was still frozen, her mouth slightly agape. She looked like she had seen a ghost. "I'm sorry to interrupt your dinner," the man continued, his gaze still fixed on me. "Liam, right? I'm Mark Dawson. We spoke on the phone last week about the downtown revitalization project." And then it clicked. Mark Dawson. He was the head of the largest development firm in the city. Landing this project was the dream. It was the contract that would not just make my firm successful, it would make it legendary. It was the reason I'd been working late for months, the reason I felt we were finally on the cusp of true financial security. "Mr. Dawson," I said, standing up to shake his hand, my mind still reeling from Clara's announcement. "It's an honor to meet you in person. I didn't expect to see you here. The pleasure is all mine," he said warmly, his handshake firm. "I was just finishing a meeting nearby, and my assistant mentioned you had a reservation here tonight. I hope you don't mind, but I was so impressed with your preliminary designs that I wanted to tell you in person. My board and I have made a decision. We want your firm to lead the project." The world seemed to slow down. For a moment, I forgot about Clara, about the divorce. about the crushing weight of her words. This was it. The culmination of a decade of hard work, sleepless nights, and endless sacrifices. Mr. Dawson, I'm speechless. That's incredible news. Please, call me Mark, he said with a smile. You've earned it. Your vision is exactly what this city needs. We're ready to sign the contracts as soon as you are. This is a $30 million project, Liam. It's going to change the skyline, and it's going to change your life. As the weight of his words settled, I glanced back at Clara. The color had completely drained from her face. She was staring at Mark Dawson, not with the adoration she had described for her new man, but with utter horror. It was then that the final devastating piece of the puzzle clicked into place. I turned back to Mark, a cold, dawning realization washing over me. Mark, I said, my voice steady. I'm sorry, you came to meet someone here, didn't you? Mark nodded, his expression shifting slightly as he finally seemed to notice Clara's strange behavior. Yes, I did, Well, a friend. She was supposed to be meeting me. I gestured toward my wife. Clara, I said, my voice devoid of all warmth. I believe you know Mark Dawson. Mark's eyes widened in confusion as he looked from me to Clara, whose face was now a mask of panic. Clara, yes, we know each other. He was clearly bewildered, trying to understand the situation. She's my wife, I said simply. And she was just telling me she's leaving me for a new man. A successful, decisive man who was supposed to pick her up from our anniversary dinner tonight. I'm guessing that man was you. The silence at our table was deafening. Mark stared at Clara, his professional demeanor crumbling into disbelief and then dawning anger. What? Clara, what is he talking about? You told me you were single. You said you were living with a roommate and struggling to make ends meet. Clara finally found her voice, but it was a desperate, panicked squeak. Mark, I can't explain. It's not what you think, isn't it? I interjected, a bitter laugh escaping my lips. It seems pretty clear to me. You were playing both sides, weren't you, Clara? You thought you were trading up. You saw Mark's success and decided to jump ship, not even realizing that the success you were chasing was about to land right in my lap. Mark looked at me, then back at Clara, disgust clouding his features. Is this true? You're his wife, and tonight is your anniversary? Clara couldn't even look at him. She just stared down at her plate, her whole body trembling. Mark shook his head slowly, a look of profound disappointment on his face. He looked at me, his eyes filled with a strange mix of pity and respect. Liam, I am so sorry. I had no idea. She completely misrepresented her situation. To think she would do this on your anniversary. He trailed off, disgusted. He took a step back from the table, as if distancing himself from her toxicity. Clara, we're done. I don't do business or anything else with people who lack integrity. Don't contact me again. He turned to me one last time. Liam, my offer still stands. Your talent is undeniable, and you are clearly a man of character. My office will call you tomorrow to arrange the paperwork. Again, I am truly sorry for my unwitting part in this. With a final sympathetic nod, he turned and walked out of the restaurant, leaving a trail of stunned silence in his wake. I sank back into my chair, the adrenaline slowly fading, leaving behind a hollow ache. Clara was still sitting there, silent and broken, the architect of her own destruction. She had gambled everything on what she thought was a sure thing, and in one spectacular moment, she had lost it all. She lost her successful new man, and she lost the life she was so eager to throw away, right at the moment it was about to become everything she claimed she wanted. I looked across the table at the woman I had loved for 10 years. The candlelight flickered, but now it didn't look romantic. It just looked dim. I reached into my jacket, but instead of the ring, I pulled out my wallet. I placed a few bills on the table, enough to cover her wine. It seems you're the one who needs a ride home after all, I said, my voice flat. Goodbye, Clara. And with that, I stood up and walked out of the restaurant, leaving her alone at the table. I didn't look back. I was walking towards a new skyline, one that I would build myself. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content. See you next time.